Hello. Thank you very much for tuning in to this week's section of reads. These readings are valid for whenever you come to them. That being said, for the tarot version, I'm using the Ghost Tarot by, I always mess up his name, Davide, David Cossey? You can see the spelling. That way if you want to find this deck. There's also the website here on the back, which this camera is giving the clear version of that. For the Oracle cards, Magical Spell cards, I love this deck, by Lucy Cavendish, illustrated by Jesse Reish, and down there at the bottom is hayhouse.com if you're interested to check all that out. And last but not least, I use dice too. I use a 22-sided dice, substituting 22 for 0 for the Fool, 14-sided dice for the Minor Arcana, and a 4-sided dice to choose the element that's matching up with the Minor Arcana. It's from the dice. They're from the Dice Shop. The website is mathartfun.com. Feel free to check those out if you're interested. That being said, of course, if you'd like a reading from me, shoot me an email, james4astral@gmail.com. That's James the number 4, astral@gmail.com. If you're interested in the donation information, that's below. Same email. So let's go ahead and get into your reading. Hello, Aries. Thank you very much for tuning in to this week's read. These readings are valid for whenever you come to them. That being said, what do we have for Aries? Why are we juggling that card? So you got the Queen of Pentacles kind of jumping around a little bit. That's more of a past influence. I feel like I'm looking at the past with somebody and I'm maybe looking at them in a better light than I used to. Maybe. Aries is very honest with themselves. If something in the past, you thought like, well, this was going this way, that was going that way. It's almost like when you get the better information, it's kind of like, well, at the time, because how this was presented and how that was happening, I believed this one thing. Turns out I've learned differently since. And Aries will own that. Aries will just be like, all right, you know what? It was what it was. I truly believed it was this. Turns out that wasn't what it was. Therefore, I have updated my opinion based on what I've learned. Aries is very honest with themselves. They will deal with it. They will totally be like, you know what? I was wrong, then I was wrong. I just feel Aries is that energy. Takes substantial proof, granted, but Aries will definitely own it. Something in the past, somebody in the past, it's very big, like, at the time, didn't seem like a good thing. Are we sure? Am I doing that right? Yeah. The judgment was not quite on. It was off. Judgment was off. Because it's coming in, this is when I say something's half in, half out. It's not like totally up. It's not totally down. Judgment was off. It wasn't going well. It was kind of like some things made sense, other things didn't. And like information wasn't flowing to you like it should have been. Some people might have been saying half-truths, which to Aries are still lies. They're just flat out lies. You found out recently. Recently? Well, you found out since. Some of you, it might be more recent that you found out some things like, oh, somebody might not have been wanting to tell the truth for whatever reason. They didn't want you to know the whole ins and outs of it. Maybe they didn't want to defend themselves. Some people have that opinion like, I shouldn't have to defend myself. And then certain things happen. They may be right that they shouldn't have to defend themselves, but things still happen the way they happen. Things go better if you do kind of defend yourself, usually. Not always, but usually. It happened the way it needed to in the past, because I feel like also with this same person, your opinion may be updated now, but also you've learned some things about this person. You might have learned that I shouldn't have to defend myself, therefore I won't. And then things played out the way they played out. This is something you need to know you need to know this. You need to know that's how they roll. Doesn't make anybody wrong or right, it's just information. The wheel is turning again. the wheel is turning again. I feel like as it's turning, I feel like I'm stepping back. And I'm just kind of like, all right, what's going on here? Because it's not just about this other person and like what they're doing, because it's kind of like I see them in a different light now. I want to see how the rest of the circus reacts to this. I need to see how the rest of this circus comes in on this situation. It's very strategical, which is very much a strong suit for Aries typically. Let me step back and just see what, okay, I know kind of what's going on with this person now. I'm looking to see who's trying to make this person their scapegoat, because I feel like that's going to highlight to me, wait, this person's trying to make that person their scapegoat, and it's not likely they're actually doing that, but people want to believe that they're doing that. Let me look closer at that one. Let me see, like, what do they have to hide? Aries is sharp and very good at being strategical. Kind of like, wait, they're trying to push the blame on somebody else, the attention on somebody else. Why are we doing that? Why don't they want to be looked at? What's going on? The moon is going to come to fruition in the sense of like things are going to get exposed here. At least to you. Yep, the devil's being reversed. Something's being reversed out of this situation, and we're undoing something. You're undoing something here. It doesn't mean you're, I don't know, you're in the process of undoing something, but it's kind of reminds me of like a kid that kept tying their shoes and knotted them into such a crazy knot that it's just kind of like it's going to take you days to undo it. It feels like that. It's like multiple knots in one little shoe. It's kind of like, what were you doing? Child, what were you doing? You are methodically untying what was done, and you are putting it where it should be. You also have this Four of Swords here. The healing that's going on here, a lot of this you're setting up for it to self-heal. I feel like a lot of this you're setting up for it to self-heal. Kind of like, I feel like you're playing it in the background, and you're just making sure, what's going on here. You're kind of setting it up so people figure out what they need to figure out all on their own. I feel like I understand that certain people don't respond to you directly very well. It's kind of like, well, it is what it is. So you're letting it come forward in different ways, because it's kind of like, oh, this is going to get sorted out, because people are playing games and I'm not a fan of that. So if that's what we need to do to get this sorted out, then that's what we will do. I feel like that's a big thing in this situation. Like, you're aware that certain people just do not respond to you well. All right, then they don't. So we're going to do this the hard way, the long way, but okay, then that's what we're going to do, because this is going to work right. I'm not going to put up with this, is what I keep getting. What is... so... Aries doesn't usually like this, so I want to be sure I'm getting it right. The rumor mill is going on, and the rumor mill is causing some changes. Aries doesn't usually go with that, but I don't know, something about, all right, people want to talk, I'm going to let them talk, and I'm not going to intercede on it. There's something about this. People exposing themselves. I feel like that may be one of the reasons. Strategically, that makes sense. Certain people just yammer on and they say nothing. Some people yammer on and they just, I swear, all they can do is lie. It's just what they do. I feel like you're letting people expose themselves, and this might be why you're able to do this. Kind of like, I'm going to let these people expose themselves for what they are. I'm just going to make sure that people remember they said this, remember they said that, remember they said this other thing. Oh, look at this, that was never happening. And oh, look a little deeper. They knew that wasn't happening. They were just telling you a story. Why were they telling you that story? I feel like this is where this is going. Kind of like, not only are people telling lies, but it's not like just like, oops, I thought that was true. No, they purposely were telling lies. And I feel like you're finding a way, letting them chatter away, letting them dig their own little hole, so that it's kind of like, see what they did? Pay attention. Make sure that you heard what they said. And I feel like you're telling that to other people. it's a very interesting energy because I feel like you're actually getting along with people, even though it comes across very kind of aggressive, maybe the way I'm saying it. You are very much getting along with people, and you're just letting them find out the truth on your own, on their own. I feel like it's something where it's like the more you let them figure it out on their own, the more of an impact it has. Um, the truth is going to come forward with a bang. The moon is going to be exposed, is what I'm getting. You're also going to see that people are going to try to band together to kind of save their own skin. Okay. It's coming forward with a bang, is what I keep getting. I don't think it's a bad thing, but there's more going on here. Because it's like, I don't think it's odd for this situation to be a mess. I feel like it's just a mess. I just feel like it's just a mess. It just is. Wait for people to get stuck. Ironically, they're saying be careful about when you talk. If you talk too early, this could actually give this situation a new life, and the people who don't deserve to flourish will flourish more than you want them to. So be careful about when you bring this in. Ironically, you're going to know when you can't stand it anymore, because I feel this. If I'm wrong, let me know. But like, there's going to be a point where it's just like, I was trying not to say anything, but before I knew it, I said it. It's kind of like it came out before I knew it. Let it happen like that in this situation. Okay, because they're saying the devil with the King of Swords. Hold it back and then just don't say anything. Sooner or later, you'll hit a point where you're just going to say something anyway. They're actually saying, in this instance, in this situation, you're going to get the most bang for your buck. And the people that you don't want to flourish, they won't. Because when you make the impact of your comment, and I feel like for Aries, it could be like a series of comments in a conversation. I feel like I've said a lot, and then all of a sudden I'm like, oh yeah, I finally said it. I just couldn't take it anymore. I just finally said it. I didn't want to say it, but before I knew it, I'm looking back like, yeah, I guess I did say that. I did. It might be also one of those moments where I didn't say it in a pretty way. It wasn't very nice the way I said it, but it's still what I meant. You know what I mean? Kind of like, somebody making a dish and you're like, oh, it's not really my thing. Versus that was horrible. When it touched my lips, I wanted to vomit. It was so bad. Like, there's different ways to say things. It's kind of like, maybe I should have just said it wasn't my thing. Versus like saying it was so bad, I don't know how anybody who's human could actually consume that thing and survive. There's difference. A little bit of a difference. But if it comes forward harshly in this situation, it seems to work better. Take it with a grain of salt. Do what you need to do. Think it out before you go that route. But that's what they're saying. Like, just let your natural energy come. I don't know. If this is a work situation, be super careful. Because if you're anything like me, I've done that, and I've almost gotten fired for stuff I've done. I'm just saying. Just be careful. I'm a Pisces, but I have some Aries placements. I'm just saying, I've let that energy play out before, and I've almost got fired for it. So, almost, but still, be careful. Be careful. This is how the reading's coming out. Take it with a grain of salt. Do what you think is right. After this is all said and done, especially if you say it with a little bit of bite, if it just comes forward on its own, which I'm cringing because, like I said, I have some placements. I know how that energy works. You may feel like, oh, well, things are technically better, but people think I'm a jerk. You may feel that way. People like you more than you realize. Sometimes you say things and the outward effect is, oh, Aries, no. Meanwhile, in the inside, they're like, yeah, good. Tell them, Aries. So, like, people will say things politically correct on the outside, but privately they're going to be like, yeah, I'm glad the Aries said it that way because they had it coming. You know how that works. I'm sure you've had instances in your life where at the time people acted like, oh, Aries. Meanwhile, later, behind the scenes, they're like, haha, that was funny when you said that. People like you more than you realized. People just get nervous aligning with you because, you could be very sharp-tongued is what I'm getting. Take it with a grain of salt. People do like you more than you realize. You got to be careful how often you use certain attributes of your personality. You know how that works. but people might like you more than you realize. And these people want to just hold the good and they want to forget the bad, whatever that means. So I feel like they're going to move forward, and whatever you say in this situation will go into the past. It's the outcome that they're looking for. Take it with a grain of salt. Take it with a mountain's worth of salt. Like, I keep feeling like I know how that energy works, and it's just like, again, I have placements and I've almost gotten fired more than once. I'm just saying, be careful. Be careful. Be very careful. Do what you think is right. Um, do what you think is right. Anything else? All right, I'm going to shut this down here. I hope that helps. Thank you very much for watching. If you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com, james4astral@gmail.com. If you're interested in the donation information, that's below, same email. Thanks again for watching, and have a great day.